is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 267, and yeah, definitely looking forward to this card. We do have 14 fights. We were supposed to have 15, but we did unfortunately lose. Mustafayev going against Ismagulov, but still 14 fights on the card. I think the card is stacked. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking about it with you guys in the chat as always. So I say we do hit up the chat and see what you guys are talking about here. And we see that Headley first one in the chat. He's saying UFC 267 prelims start Saturday 9:30 Central Time. That is true. Main card at 1 p.m. Central Time. Don't ask if the fights are tonight. Get a point. UFC 267 is free if you have ESPN Plus subscription. So Headley saying, don't come in the chat and ask if the fights are tonight because they are not. We have one more sleep. Thomas saying more violence. I agree. Some violent spots definitely sticking out. Luis in the chat as well. Adrian with the dono was looking forward to this, but life beckons. Hopefully catch the tail end. Bold call. Maracani to obliterate that hyped Murphy calling a finish. Appreciate the dono, Adrian, and appreciate the bold call as well. Yeah, it would not completely shock me, but yeah, it is a bold call nonetheless. Yalin, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Jan Blachowicz KO. Volkov win. Islam win. Kamzat Lee fight doesn't go to decision. I agree with all of those. We've got Chris in the chat as well. Brady, respect. Good luck tomorrow, everyone. Good luck to everyone, and good luck to you as well, Chris. We got Uncle Wheezy in the chat as well. Huge card. Can't wait for this one. Yeah, the card's going to be phenomenal. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is waking up early, but you know, it's what we got to do. Zayed in the chat as well. What's up, Brady? What a card. We should win some cash on Saturday. I sure hope so. Ace Money in the chat as well. Indigo. Bill saying Halloween fights. I didn't get my invite. What invite are you talking about, Bill? 14 fights. I can't really complain there. What do you think of stacking Jan and Corey in captain mode teams? I think it could potentially work. I'm gonna definitely stack in cash. I'll say that. What's up, Legends? What is up, Boris? 4 units on Jamie Cash. Yeah, man, your dude got it done. Your boy. Now let's have a huge night on the stack card. Yeah, congrats to you. Congrats to Jamie. 1:40 a.m. start time in Australia. That just sounds terrible, but I think it's a risk a lot of people are willing to take getting up early for a card like this. Hype MMA as well. Appreciate that, Hype MMA. Chris Penn saying Sandhagen. What's up, Jace? How you doing? You guys are killing it in the chat already. Oh, see what else we got here. Do you think at least 200 dogs will come through this Saturday? I do, and especially on 14 fights. Bill, no contest this pay-per-view card, or it's not even a pay-per-view this card, but I might do one for next week. But I did do a significant strike contest on my prediction video. Appreciate that, Blaze. But I said we get into it, though. Before we do, if y'all can leave a like on the video, it is always much, much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I did post my betting breakdown video already. That is already out. And then I'll be going live 1 hour prior to the prelims. Me, Uncle Weezy, and Narco Cop are going to be going live 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be really early. So if you guys are up, come check us out. As always, a very fun live stream there with those guys. Talk about some best spots on the card. I do want to shout out the sponsor, Pub Sports Radio. I potentially will be on there tomorrow early in the morning for some of the prelims. We talk live betting, live commentary. It's a really fun time over there with the guys. Me and Uncle Weezy are on there Sundays and Tuesdays, talking some DFS content on Tuesday, some stat diggers on Sunday. And I'm also there doing NFL content with Billy Briz on Wednesdays and Fridays. So always a great time over there. And then we have a dono before we get into it. If Petr Yan wins by second round, Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop from the top rope, I get to be a guest next Saturday on the live stream. First of all, Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out. Second of all, thank you for the dono. And third of all, if that happens, you bet you can be on for Saturday. But we'll see. I mean, that would be a heck of a call. So I'll definitely keep that in mind for the fight. And again, appreciate the dono. So let's get into it, guys. We have the very first fight of the night. Tagir Ulambekov going against Alan Nascimento. And yeah, it's not much interest here from a betting perspective. I think Draftkings is fine with some Tagir Ulambekov. I think this does go to decision. I think the fight goes to decision is not a bad spot, minus 170. But yeah, I do like Tagir Ulambekov here. I think the line's getting a little bit crazy. Alan Nascimento is actually pretty good. He actually impressed me in his Contender Series fight with Raulian Paiva, a very close fight that really could have went either way. It did go to the Paiva side, though. So Nascimento, he's not a bum or anything. So, yeah, the line's wide, but we see throughout this card that a lot of these lines are wide. So, yeah, I do like Tagir Ulambekov to win. I do like him to win by decision. No action for me on the first fight of the night. but I think DraftKings could be interesting. He's going to be very low owned, 9,400. He's going to have takedown upside. I think it's going to be a very high-paced fight, so don't mind some Tagir on DraftKings. But other than that, not a ton of interest in it, but it should be a good fight to kick off the card. I don't mind me some Tagir Ulambekov. If you're doing like multiple leg parlays, I think he's fine. But yeah, minus 400 is getting a little bit too steep. It's, Ulambekov's great, but, Nascimento is not bad at all. So we'll see what happens. But I do think Ulambekov does get it done and gets it done by decision. But again, it should be a fun fight to kick off the card. And we've been seeing as of late, I forget if it happened last week, but the first fight of the night has always been like finishing at a surprisingly high clip like the past like couple months. So we'll see if a finish does happen, but I'm more so leaning to towards it being a decision here. And should be a fun fight. Craig saying significant strikes for the main 154. I'm guessing my guy, if you missed me or my comment may have been sent last night. I'll get to the comments in a little bit. I think I've got to most of them, but there's some that I have not got to yet. Let's see what we got here. My pick for Movlid and Chris Wade fight goes to decision. Hit and parlayed Movlid and Peter Yan. Let's go, boys. West Coast, we waking up to violence. Yeah, you're going to have to be waking up very early for some violence for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Would it be better to bet Blachowicz Teixeira under the fight doesn't go to decision? Or Blachowicz by KO? If I had to pick one, it would be the KO there. But I say we do move on to the next fight, and this is probably my favorite fight on the card. And it's crazy to say that because this is probably the lowest level fight on the card. But we have Andre Petrovski going against Yazong Hu, and I do have two bets on this fight. The first one and the biggest one being the under 2.5 rounds. I got it at minus 150. I have 1.5 units on that. And then I also took a small stab, half unit shot on Yazong Hu, plus 194. And the reason being is I'm not completely sold on Andre Petrovski. I think the most likely scenario is, he probably comes out here. He probably gets a first round submission. But if not, I have some serious concerns. I mean, he's somebody that lost the second round to Michael Gilmore. That's not good. We have not seen Yazong Hu in nearly 3 years. We saw him at heavyweight. We saw him at light heavyweight. He's now at middleweight. If you guys saw the weigh-ins, he's looking in incredible shape. And it's crazy to take a look at how he looked 3 years ago and compare him to now because it's just a complete difference. And also when they were, facing off, Hugh Yazong was much, much bigger. So Petrovski's going to have to come in here on a short notice, a guy that typically slows down as the fight goes on already. We've seen him slow down in the past. We've seen him get finished as the fight goes on. If he's not able to get his opponent out of there, and he's going to have to wrestle and take down a much, much bigger Yazong Hu, a guy that used to fight at heavyweight, and again, on short notice. So, like I said, I think the most likely scenario is Petrovski probably does get him down early and submit him, but if not, I could definitely see him getting in some trouble. So either way, though, I think the under 2.5 rounds, it covers both sides, either Petrovski early or Yazong, mid-fight, later in the fight as well. And then also took a half unit shot on Yazong, straight plus 194. And it's just weird to me. This is a line I thought was going to balloon up. It opened up at minus 225, and I expected a lot of people to be on Petrovski this week, and it does look that way, but the line's not moving at all. It actually has moved slightly in the favor of Yazong Hu, which is very interesting. And actually, it opened up minus 110, pick 'em on each side. That's what the bookies opened it up at. All the money came in on Petrovski early, and then there's just been no action after that. So it's a fight where there are some question marks, especially on both sides, but especially the Hugh side. But I'm willing to take a small shot there. As far as DK goes, this is a fight I'm very highly invested in. I think Petrovski has early finish upside. I think he has takedown upside, control time upside. And as far as Yazong Hu, he's going to have the striking advantage. He's going to have the cardio advantage. If he can survive that first round and a half, I think there's a very good chance that he does get it done. So we'll see what happens. But those are the spots I do like on that fight, and should be a very good one. Dude was massive. Yep. He was very massive for sure. He looked good. Benito, what's up, mate? Stayed up for your live. It's 1 a.m. here in Hungary. I got work tomorrow. Well, appreciate you hanging out. It does mean a lot. Martin saying I got 10K on Hamzat and Islam. Well, I think they both win. Do I have big parlays? No, I'm trying to stay away from the parlays for the rest of the year. It's hard to do so, especially on a card like this. But to be honest, there's not anybody I feel comfortable with parlaying this week. If anything, it would be Alexander Volkov. But I don't feel comfortable with parlaying Chimaev. I don't feel comfortable with parlaying Islam Makhachev. Just don't feel comfortable with any of these big favorites. Loving this fight for DK. Yeah, me as well. He was towering over him. Yes, he was. Do you think Petrovski could take Hugh down? I think he can early, but if he can't get him out of there like early, he could be in trouble. I feel like Petrovski is not UFC level. Hot take though. I just think he's still very green. His striking's not there. Question marks about his cardio, and then on top of that, coming in on short notice. When you lose a round to Michael Gilmore, it's something that really makes you sit back and think, how good actually is Petrovski. All right. Damir, Hamzat, Yan, Volkov, Damir Ismagulov. That fight is actually off. That fight's off the card. Oh, what else we got here? Patrick, started watching a few weeks back, and now I'm hooked. Appreciate that. Best channel there is. Really do appreciate that compliment, Patrick. Thank you for hanging out. Fair on the no parlay, but if you had to do 3, what do you think? Well, it would be Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volkov, and Khamzat Chimaev. They'd be those 3, but don't feel overly confident. If I'm doing like a Hail Mary parlay, those are fine. But like I said, I'm trying to stay away from the parlays. They really hurt me this year. And then if we have a dono, $5 dono for Suvari last. Appreciate you for hanging out and appreciate the dono a ton. But I say we move on to the next fight. And that was my favorite fight on the card. But we have Lerone Murphy going against Makwan Amarakani. And it's pretty simple. I think it's Amarakani is going to have success early. If you're a live bettor, this is something to look out for. I think if you do like the Murphy side, I'd wait till after the first round, maybe even first couple of minutes, because we see that Makwan is very good, very talented, very solid wrestling. The grappling's very good, but the cardio is just not there. So if I was to attack this fight, it'd be more so from a live betting standpoint. I think Amarakani probably has a really good chance to win that first round, but I think after that, Murphy's going to take over as the fight goes on. Some props that did stick out. Amarakani, I saw it on FanDuel Sportsbook. I think it was like plus 1,700 for round 1 sub. That kind of stuck out to me, but it's simple as this. If Amarakani can get him out of there early, I think he has a chance to win. So I'll be looking at Amarakani by submission, plus 575. Amarakani round 1, not sure what that is. I think it's around plus 900, something like that. But I think Murphy does survive the early storm. I think it does win rounds 2 and round 3 and win a pretty competitive decision. But yeah, I don't love this line at all. Like I said, if I was to attack this fight, it would be from a live betting standpoint. Murphy on DraftKings, don't really like it at all. I think he's going to probably lose the first round. He's 9,300. I'd rather get Chimaev. I'd rather get Duraev. I'd rather get, pretty much anybody up in that range other than Lerone Murphy here. So Makwan for DraftKings, though, 6,900. If he does win, you can expect some takedowns, control time, and maybe even an early finish. So dog or pass, probably from a betting perspective and a DraftKings perspective here. But Makwan did stick out to me in terms of a pump play on DK. Don't hate him at all. But I think Murphy probably survives and get the win. But yeah, I would not parlay Murphy. Brady, what are your most 3 confident underdog picks? Yeah, there's not a ton of dogs. We have a ton of really juiced lines. I'd say number 1 would be, in terms of a betting perspective, I think Q's a decent bet. Jandiroba, and then also don't mind some Oleksiejczuk as well. Those are the 3 dogs that are sticking out. I think Ramos is live as well. Damir Ismagulov came in like 7.5 pounds overweight, so the fight has been canceled. Check Zabara Tukhugov by submission. Insane. It's plus 2,000. Plus 2,000. It'd be insane if he did submit Ramos, but yeah, plus 2,000 there. I agree. Murphy is one of the biggest fades for me on DK this week. Yeah, there's just so many better options up there. Dan Hooker, the best dog. Maybe it's a long shot, but Dan Hooker by random knee. That's probably how he wins, if anything. But we will move on. 129 of you in here. If y'all can please smash that like button. It is much, much appreciated. We have Shamil Ganzatov going against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. And I do have a bet here. So I have a small play, half a unit shot on the fight. Doesn't go to decision. Got it at plus 145. It is still plus 130. The reason being is I think that line's off. First of all, we have a light heavyweight fight. Second of all, these guys in 4 combined losses, obviously Shamil's undefeated, but Oleksiejczuk's been finishing all of his losses. I think Shamil has a path to victory of, if he wants to, take down Oleksiejczuk and submit this guy. This guy's been submitted 3 times. He's been knocked out once as well. On the flip side, Oleksiejczuk is very dangerous. He gets very hard, throws a ton of volume, and I wouldn't be shocked if Oleksiejczuk did pull off the upset here, potentially finishing Ganzatov. But this is more of like a number play for me. Plus 145 just seemed really off, especially considering Neither guy's lost a decision. 4 combined, finish losses, and both guys are dangerous. We'll take a look at their finish rates here. Oleksiejczuk, 74% finish rate. Ganzatov, 72% finish rate. I don't think it's like crazy likely, but at plus 145, I'm willing to take a small stab there on the fight doesn't go. Ganzatov is interesting, though. There's not a lot of tape out there on him. I think I was able to see like 3 or 4 fights. Of what I've seen, I was just really underwhelmed with the guy. He's somebody that, especially in this fight, you're going to want to see him get takedowns, and it's not something he goes to a lot, but maybe he will here. He looked really good on the scales, so we'll see what happens. But I think Oleksiejczuk's a decent dog, especially on DK 7800. He's going to throw a lot of volume. He's going to come forward. He's going to look for the finish. I don't hate him on DK there. But yeah, as far as a pick, it's going to be Oleksiejczuk, but I don't mind that fight doesn't go to decision prop. Plus 145, half a unit stab there. But a fight that, this is probably the fight I'm least looking forward to on the card. I have a feeling it could potentially be boring. All depends what Oleksiejczuk shows up. If it's the Oleksiejczuk that showed up in his first several UFC fights, it should be a very fun fight. But if we get the Oleksiejczuk that showed up against Modestas Bukauskas, could be a little bit boring fight because I think Ganzatov's not really the most exciting fighter in the world. So we'll see what happens, but the pick is going to be Oleksiejczuk for the win, and don't mind him on DK. Kane, what about parlaying a few over 1.5s? Yeah, it's not my thing. Depending on what fight it is, though. I mean, maybe you could talk me into it. I think people are sleeping on the over 1.5 rounds bet option. Can easily see that in almost all the main card fights. Yeah, but the problem is that like a lot of them are like minus 500, minus 600, and there's always, that one that could hurt you there. Mikkel is one of my dogs. I think his sneaky speed will be the difference. Yep, he's going to be a lot faster, that's for sure. Ryan with another dono. Appreciate you, Ryan. $9.99. Got to take my daughter trick-or-treating. We'll finish the stream later. Brady, you're the GOAT. Keep crushing content. Appreciate that a ton, Ryan. Go enjoy some trick-or-treating. Sounds like a lot of fun. And do appreciate the dono quite a bit. Can we see a Ganzatov sub potentially? Yeah, we potentially could. Ganzatov by submission is plus 500, which is not good enough for me. But yeah, that's a path to victory for him. But like I said, the fight doesn't go decision, kind of covers both sides there. Stopped watching other prediction channels. DFS is the way, the truth, and the lie. Hey, appreciate that a ton. Islam, Alexander, and Peter plus 129. Peter, you mean Petrovski? I'm going the other way on that in terms of a betting perspective. He should win, though, but we'll see what happens. Don't mind the value at all on the Hughes side there. But yeah, good luck to you on your parlay. I will have no parlays outside of like a Hail Mary this week. Why does it feel like any of the dogs in the main card could be live? Why does it feel like any of the dogs can be live? Let's take a look. I mean, yeah, Teixeira's live. Sandhagen's live. I don't know about Dan Hooker. Don't know about Tybura. Don't know about the Leech. Yeah, I think the main and co-man dogs are probably the most live out of all the main card fights. But that's just my opinion there. But I say we move on. I have a lot to talk about. We're going to kind of roll through this card here. 14 fights. We have Shamil. No, we talked about that one already. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos going against Benoit Saint Denis. I do have a bet on this fight, and I have the under 2.5 rounds. I got it at minus 120. I have 1.25 units on it. The reason being is, Saint Denis has never seen the over 2.5 round mark. He's only seen the third round once. He's a guy that is very dangerous, very explosive, very good grappler, but he's very sloppy. He's very green. His very first MMA fight was in 2019, and he makes a ton of mistakes. He's somebody that is submission over position, and I don't think that's going to cut it against a guy in Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, who is a veteran of the sport. He's been in the game for a long time, and he's a guy that looked great on the scales as well. So looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a banger. I think someone gets finished. If Saint Denis does win, I think it's inside the distance. Zaleski has been finished in 3 of his 7 losses, 1 by knockout, 2 by submission. But I think the more likely scenario is Zaleski dos Santos does knock him out at some point in this fight. The line minus 235. It hasn't moved much since it did open. But I do like Zaleski to get it done and get it done inside the distance, which is plus 110. I don't hate that. But again, the under 2.5 rounds, minus 120. It does cover both sides. A lot of books still don't have the lines out, the props out for this fight for some reason, and which is crazy because the fights start, pretty soon. But Yep, I think the under is the way to go. And on DraftKings, I'm really high on Dos Santos. On DraftKings, Zaleski Dos Santos, they're 8,500. I think he has a great opportunity to find a finish here. And Saint Denis, in terms of a dog, I mean, he's 100% finish rate. If he does win, it could be a finish for sure. 7,700, don't mind a few shots on him, but I think Dos Santos does get it done and gets it done pretty convincingly here. Oh, he meant Piotr Jan. Got it. That makes sense. The God of War is my second dog of the night. Think he surprises people in his debut and catches Zaleski with a sub. That would be crazy. He could do it. I mean, he's dangerous, but Zaleski, I believe, is a black belt. Regardless, though, I think the under 2.5 is the way to go there. But yeah, kind of a bold call there. But yeah, we'll see. I do like what I see from the guy. I just don't think he's that ready yet. He's still very green. But yeah, like I said, the under 2.5 is probably the best spot on this fight here. Yeah, let's move on to the what would you say is the best fantasy lineup for 267? What do you mean by that? Like DraftKings? He looked bigger and taller than Petrovski. Very risky bet on Petrovski. I'll pass on this one. Yep, I took a small stab on Hugh myself. And that was before I saw the weigh-ins, believe it or not. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight. We have Albert Duraev going against Roman Kopylov. This is going to be my second biggest play of the night. I have the fight doesn't go to decision. 2 units, minus 200. Probably should have went a little bit heavier on this one, but both guys in their 4 losses have all been inside the distance. Duraev's been knocked out 3 times. He's on a big win streak though, so he hasn't been knocked out in a while, but Kopylov does have a ton of power. Kopylov is a finish. He's finished all but one of his fights by knockout. He didn't look great in his debut. That's probably why we're seeing such an inflated line here. Minus 360 on Duraev. I think the most likely scenario is Duraev does take down Kopylov and submit him shortly after. We saw Carl Roberson, somebody who typically gets submitted in his own right. He took down Kopylov in the 3rd round and submitted him with pretty much no resistance at all. And I think Duraev's wrestling's good. His grappling's very good. So I think a Duraev submission is 100% in play. But, Kopylov, we see it time and time again. Sometimes these guys or girls have bad UFC debuts and they go and they look like killers like the next couple fights. Like, for example, who was that? Who's that one Chinese fighter? I forget his name, but who was it? Was it Rong Zhu? Is it Rong Zhu? I think it was Rong Zhu who looked really bad in his UFC debut and then came back in his next fight and almost killed the guy. Tyler Santos looked really bad in her UFC debut. Now Tyler Santos is somebody to look out for in the division. Kopylov, he looked really bad. He looked very hesitant, but again, it was his UFC debut. I do expect to see a much better performance from the guy, but still, I think he does get taken down and submitted. But the line is getting pretty crazy here, minus 360. But I think the best way to play it is probably the violence. Kopylov, if he wins, it's probably by knockout. Duraev's been knocked out 3 times. Duraev, if he wins, he takes down Kopylov and submits him. I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best, violent spot on the entire card here. So you got 2 units, minus 200. Don't hate it. I think it's minus 230 now, which is probably still not wide enough. Give me some violence here in this fight. As far as DK goes, I like Duraev, takedown upside. Submission upside, early submission upside. Kopylov, if he wins, it's going to be a knockout, so don't mind him as a punt at 7,000. What's up, Hudson? How you doing? Any sneak peeks in on 268? You mentioned you already have some ideas. I do have some ideas. I'm going to start unloading the clip maybe on Saturday or Sunday. Potential max bet might be my third or fourth. I think third max bet of the year might be coming up next week at 268. I'm going to finish probably taping the card tonight. Brady, 7,800 or below, best picks. Got to pick a couple because of all the expensive fighters. Yeah. So there's you're basically throwing darts with a lot of these guys. We see that Yazong Hu could be something to look at. He is 7,600. We see that Saint Denis is 100% finish rate. He's 7,700. I'd take shots on guys like that. Oleksiejczuk. If you want some punts, you have Amara Khani as a punt. You have Oezdemir as a punt. The Leech all these guys are just throwing darts. It's pretty tough from an underdog standpoint on DK. You're just throwing darts at that point. Glover Teixeira, Sandhagen. I do have a lot of those guys, but I'd probably attack the main and co-main event dogs. I think there should be decent fights there, and if they do win, they should score well. But in terms of a dog, I'm very confident about. There's not a ton of those. There's definitely not a ton of those. Took a shot on the Leech, plus 400. Line seems way off to me. Yeah, I mean, I think he does get smeshed, but if he does not get smeshed in the first round and a half, 2 rounds, and Chimaev's gas tank is not great, he could be live. But if I was on the Leech, I would take a shot at the third round proper live bet it. Ribas is slightly better than Jandiroba, but her chin is not the greatest in the world. I think it's dog or pass. Yeah, we'll talk about that one soon for sure. Cannot wait to break that one down. But I say we move on, though. So, yeah, that's my second biggest play of the night. That fight doesn't go to decision right there. Hopefully that has come through. Next, we have a fight I'm not going to talk about too much. Zabara Tukhugov going against Ricardo Ramos. It probably is a dog or pass situation here. I think Tukhugov does win, but he's always in these very close fights. They go to split decision more often than not. So it's probably going to be a close fight. It's probably going to go to decision. It's probably going to be a split decision, but I just want nothing to do with it. Even on DK, I don't have much interest. 8,300 Tukhugov, 7,900 in Ramos. I think Tukhugov gets it done, though. I'll say Tukhugov by decision, but even that's not intriguing. Plus 100. I'll take Tukhugov for the win, but I'm not going to bet it, especially at chalk, minus 160, as it should be a close fight, as are most Tukhugov fights. But yeah, don't have much interest, if any at all, in that fight. But yeah, do want to remind you guys, though, tomorrow, 9:30, me, Wheezy, Narco Cop, 1 hour prior to the prelims, best bet. Make sure you guys check us out. Wake up early. Gonna be very early. But yeah, should be a very fun show tomorrow. We're only going to run with 3 guys. We have 14 fights, 1 hour to do it. We'll run with 3 guys, and we'll get 4 back for 268 for sure. I'm not sure when 268 starts, but I know for sure it's not going to be in the morning. Live betting is genuinely another gambling skill set, far more advantageous when an online gambler. Yeah, don't mind some live betting here and there. Have got more into it this year. All right, but we'll move on to the next fight on the card. We have the people's main event, and it's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy how we have all these great fights. We have Blachowicz, Teixeira. We have Sandhagen, Jan. We have Makhachev, Hooker. Volkov, Tybura. Chimaev, the Leech. Ankalaev. And all I see on Twitter, all I hear about is this fight. Amanda Ribas, Verna, Jandiroba. This has to be the most talked about fight this week, which is crazy. I saw Bet Online posted that the most bet on fighter this week is Amanda Ribas. She was number 1, at least a couple days ago, and Jandiroba was not too far behind her. I think she's number 5 or number 6 in terms of people are going out there and betting on this fight, the most bet on fight, which is crazy. But yeah, should be a good fight. I see a lot of conflicting opinions on either side. A lot of people really confident in Ribas. A lot of people really confident in Jandiroba. It should make for a very fun fight here. I personally am on the Jandiroba side. Did not get to a money line bet here, but it's a fight where I think it's a very winnable fight for Jandiroba. On the feet, I do favor Ribas quite a bit. I don't like that she's extremely chinny. I don't like, her chin at all. And Jandiroba does hit somewhat hard. But I think the big difference is going to be the takedowns of Jandiroba. What I like about Jandiroba compared to, a fighter like Mackenzie Dern, both fighters have very good BJJ, but Dern doesn't really have the wrestling to get it there, whereas Jandiroba, she absolutely does. She has very good takedowns, and we take a look at Ribas. Her takedown defense is sitting at 85%, but I think that's a little bit misleading, and by a little bit, I mean a lot, because she stuffed 6 takedowns from Mackenzie Dern, coming off of a layoff, coming off of a pregnancy. So she stuffed 6 for 6 against Mackenzie Dern, somebody that has a 10% accuracy, and then she was 0 for 1 against Randa Marcos. Those were the only takedowns she had to stuff in the UFC. Mackenzie Dern, she stuffed 6 for 6. Good for her. That's Mackenzie Dern. And then also Randa Marcos was 1 for 1 on takedowns. And I looked outside of the UFC as well. Saw she was taken down pretty easily. I forget who she was fighting. Saw her get knocked out really bad by Polyana Viana as well. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think, on the feet, like I said, Ribas. But I think Jandiroba mixing in the takedowns. I think her ground game, although Ribas is a black belt herself, I think the ground game is definitely in favor of the Jandiroba side. So have not got to a money line bet yet. I was kind of sitting back and waiting for the line to move. It has not moved all that much, but the Jandiroba is the pick. And I do have a small bet on Jandiroba by submission. FanDuel Sportsbook plus 1,200, quarter unit on it. That line is still there. That line actually went to plus 1,500 for an hour for some reason. Jandiroba by submission. So I think that's, a must poke for me at least. Quarter unit on it. The reason being is Ribas has been finished in all of her fights. Jandiroba she's a finisher. She is absolutely a finisher. She has an 82% finish rate, 76% by submission, 6% by knockout. The one knockout was the fight where she snapped off Murata's arm, and Murata just wouldn't tap. It got called a TKO, which sucked. I had the sub prop there. But yeah, Jandiroba by sub, plus 1,200. Quarter unit on it. That's how invested I am in this fight thus far. I think it's going to be a close fight. I really do think it's going to be a very close fight. But yeah, it's a dog or pass situation for me. Give me Jandiroba for the win. As far as DK, don't have much interest in it, to be honest. More of a stars and scrubs week for me on DK. Lots of great plays up top. Lots of great pump plays down below. If anything, it would be some Jandiroba at 8K with the takedown upside. I don't really see Ribas taking down Jandiroba. Maybe she does. But if she does, that's playing right into Jandiroba's game. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I do like the Jandiroba side here. No money line bet as of yet. But we'll see what happens. If that line keeps moving, we'll see what happens. All right. Let's see here. What is up? Headley won with the apple martini. Yeah, if you guys have not seen it, I posted on Twitter. Uncle Wheezy went on an absolute rant on this fight. Go check it out. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard from him. Not a top 5 fight for me. This is so stacked of a card, but Ribas is my baby. Got 2 units on her. There you go. You're either a simp better or hater this week, apparently. Yeah, this is a fight that everybody's really, really looking forward to. As long as Verna can get takedowns, it should be a good win. Ribas has that ability to stay on her bike and piece her up, but I think Verna takes it. It's gonna be a close fight. I think Ribas advantage on the feet, Verna advantage on the mat. We'll see what happens. Aljo, we got Aljo Sterling in the building. What is up? I like violence here. I'm kind of more so the over and the fight goes, but I think if there is a finish, I think it's going to come from Jandiroba. Let's see here. I think Dern is a better grappler than Jandiroba. Yep, that is true. And Ribas wasn't worried about her BJJ as she took her down herself. Yeah, but she did stand up a lot of times in that fight. She would take down Dern. She would stand up right away. Now you tripping. Here comes the Ribas fans. I get it. I definitely get it. UFC wants Amanda to win. Yeah, I imagine. Betting Jandiroba inside the distance after the last fight can't be certain. Yeah, that sucked. I had Jandiroba by sub at like plus 500. She snaps her arm. She doesn't tap, and it's a KO. We have Victor. What's up, gangsta? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Did I miss anything? Let's make this money. You didn't miss a ton. I'll go over my bets at the end, but talking about some Ribas and Jandiroba right now. And by the way, I heard that Jandiroba is coming out to Island Boy. She's coming out to Island Boy, which should be interesting. I'm jealous of Ribas's bicycle seat. My goodness. There you go. Saint Denis, Sandhagen, and Yazong are my underdog picks in a double-up contest. Thoughts? Yeah, I definitely like Sandhagen in terms of a double-up line. Just kind of throwing a dart with Saint Denis and Yazong, but if they do win, it's gonna score really well. Got Spencer in the chat. Howdy, boys. Hope y'all are doing well. Howdy, Spencer. How you doing? But I say we move on. I say we absolutely move on to the main card. We're about 33 minutes in, doing pretty good on time. And we have Magomed Ankalaev going against Volkan Oezdemir. Yeah, so interestingly enough, money's been coming in on Oezdemir all week. Oezdemir opened up at plus 285. He's now plus 240. Ankalaev opened up minus 360. He's now minus 280. Ankalaev minus or 9,100 on DraftKings. Oezdemir is 7,100. And yeah, I think if anything on this fight that I would think about playing would be the fight doesn't go to decision. But even that is something like I'm not overly confident in. Both guys have been finished. Well, Ankalaev's been finished in his only loss by sub against Paul Craig. Oezdemir's been finished in 4 of his 5 losses. So I think the fight doesn't go to decision. If anything would be what I'd look at. I think the under 2.5 rounds is like minus 140. Not terrible, but ultimately no play here. I think Ankalaev does win. But, Oezdemir's no slouch. This is going to be a step up in competition from Ankalaev. Oezdemir's been fighting the best of the best guys for the majority of his career. So we'll see what happens. I think Ankalaev does get it done, though. In terms of a parlay piece, not really for me. But if I was doing a Hail Mary, sure, throw him in there. But, yeah, I'll say Ankalaev does get it done. I want to say probably inside the distance, but even that's like not a great line. Minus 110 for Ankalaev inside the distance. No, thank you. But yeah, give me Ankalaev for the win. I think he does get it done here. Big Turtle, you just got a new sub. Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys can smash the sub button, that'd be much appreciated. Uncle Weezy saying you all got your Apple Teenies ready. I think they do. I think they do. Verna is a good play on DK because Amanda will have high ownership. Don't have the ownership up with me right now, but I think the fight in general is going to be pretty low owned. Do you cover any prize picks, Brady? Not often. I haven't in a while. I'll have to get back into it. They both look good at the weigh-ins. Are you talking about Ankalaev, Oezdemir, or Ribas, Jandiroba? Too many heavy favorites on this card. Yep. Yeah, there are too many heavy favorites and too many favorites that are probably a little bit too wide of favorites. And we got Vince in the chat saying, Brady Mob, what is up, Vince? Let's move on to the next fight on the card. We have Khamzat Chimaev going against the Leech, Li Jingliang. And yeah, I mean, I really like the spot. I really like how I played this fight. If you guys have FanDuel Sportsbook, round 1 or 2 for Chimaev to win in rounds 1 or round 2, minus 110 is what I got it at. I have a unit on that. And believe it or not, that was actually plus money earlier in the week. It was plus 105. I think it opened up like plus 110, plus 115, which is crazy. But that's kind of how I attacked it. I think the fight doesn't go to decisions, even safer, covers both sides. But my thinking is, Chimaev, he's minus 600. Chimaev, he's never been to a third round. He's never been to a decision. I don't think he's ever been over the 1.5 round mark. So what I did was I played Chimaev wins in either round 1 or round 2, minus 110, takes minus 600, turning it to a minus 110 there. And if he does not win in rounds 1 or rounds 2, I actually have some serious concerns about, how is he going to look later in the fight? So, yeah, I think fight doesn't go to decision. It's definitely juiced, but minus 260 is not horrible. It covers both sides. But yeah, minus 110 for Chimaev round 1 or round 2. That was something that really, really did stick out to me. And I have a unit on that. But yeah, Chimaev, I thought he's a decent parlay piece earlier in the week. Kind of iffy about it now. Again, there's just like a lot of question marks. He was on the verge of retiring a couple months ago. He had that COVID scare. The weight cutting last night looked like he had not the best weight cut in the world. Had the towel situation going on. Had to go back and cut an extra half a pound. So there's all those concerns. We've never seen him over the 1.5 round mark. We've never seen him in the third. Leach is a very tough guy. So for that reason, I don't really like the minus 600. But yeah, I'll take the minus 110. I think that's his best path to victory, is getting an early finish here. I think he's going to go out here, take down the Leech, and probably submit him shortly after in that first or second round. So yeah, I do like that quite a bit. As far as DK goes, Chimaev is one of my highest owned fighters on the slate. Has takedown upside, finish upside. The Leech, 59% takedown defense. That is not good. The Leech as a pump play, 6,700. I don't have a ton, because even if he does win, I think it's gonna be like a late finish after he's getting dominated for rounds 1 and rounds 2. But still, could be something to look at for a pump play. But I think Chimaev does get it done more often than not. But there are some slight concerns with Chimaev. But I don't think we have to worry about it. I think he does get him out of there early. But if he does not, if you are a live better, if Chimaev does not get him out of there in that first round and a half, 2 rounds, maybe take a live betting shot on the Leech. Because, again, we've never seen Chimaev go late into a fight. But we'll see what happens. Diego saying, lock the Asian guy. Thank me later. Mike saying, yee, what is up, Mike? Looking to fade him in the future, but this is not the fight. Yeah, I think it's not the fight. I love the Leech, but Chimaev got this. They had the best stare down. Yeah, they did. They definitely did. I'm hoping the Leech can survive round 1. If he can survive round 1, his chances of winning go up. If he can survive round 2, his chances of winning go up even more. But I don't know. Diego liking the Leech first round KO. I think if he does get a KO, I think it's going to be late in the fight. Big Joe Cleveland, what is up, Big Joe? Big Brady, thanks for all the hard work. Thank you for hanging out and with us tonight. The whole world is on these super juiced favorites. I'm on a round robin dog parlay. If a couple dogs win, I'm way up. Interesting way to look at it. I mean, I don't feel comfortable with a lot of these big favorites, but we'll see what happens. I was going to pull my bet on Ribas, but I just can't pull out of Ribas. No shame in that. Chimaev looked okay at ceremonials. Didn't look sluggish. Yeah, he looked fine. He looked okay. Definitely looked fine. Even like when he was weighing in, I thought he looked okay. Was Khamzat cheating? It looked like it. It definitely looked like it. This is a card where you have to get the highest priced fighters that score the most. I feel Khamzat is most likely to score the highest. So he is my highest stone. I'm right there with you. I think he is as well. I really like Khamzat. I really like Duraev. Don't mind some Makhachev as well. But yeah, I think Khamzat Chimaev does get it done. All right, we have what 1, 2, 3, 4 fights left. About 204 of you in here. If y'all can please smash the like button, it's much appreciated. Be sure you are subscribed to not miss out on the content. And best bet tomorrow, going live 1 hour prior to when the prelims start, and then we'll be back with Uncle Weezy on Sunday for Stat Diggers, going live at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time to break down 268, a card that. Compared to this card, I think this card's probably better from a viewer standpoint, but next week there are a lot of betting opportunities that do stick out, and I cannot wait to share this with you on Sunday. Pulling out a Ribas should be a crime. There you go. All right. I'm going to keep it like a fight Island Boy. There you go, DJ Marshall with the Island Boy song. Can't wait to see if Jandiroba really does come out to that. If she does, it should be legendary for sure. I know Uncle Weezy wasn't too happy about that, though. Uncle Weezy's not an island boy himself, so he wasn't too happy about that. But can't wait to see if she really does come out to that. It should be funny. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight. This is going to be my biggest bet on the card. And like I said, there's a lot of big favorites on this card. And I don't really feel comfortable in many of them. But one guy I do feel comfortable about is going to be one Alexander Volkov. I have 3 units on him, minus 275. It's a heavyweight fight. That line is scary. It's a heavyweight fight. But I think he does possess the tools to get it done here. And something I like about Alexander Volkov, since the Blades fight, this guy has really changed his physique in a way. He's coming in a lot heavier. He's coming in near that 265-pound limit, and he's looking good. Like, this is the best version of Volkov we've ever seen. I mean, he's somebody that went to a competitive decision with Cyril Gane, a fight where, yeah, he clearly lost, but, a lot of those rounds were pretty close. Which is impressive. It's a lot better than what Tybura would do it against Gane, you got to think. Tybura, he's been looking good. He's on a 5-fight win streak, but, this is not Greg Hardy, who's going to, gas out after a round. By the way, Greg Hardy destroyed Tybura in the first round, almost got him out of there, outlanded him like 37 to like 16. This is not Walt Harris, who's going to gas out after 2.5 minutes. By the way, Walt Harris almost got him out of here. This is Alexander Volkov, who can go a clean 5 rounds, no problem. Cardio is not an issue. Takedown defense is not an issue. Me and Uncle Weezy talked about it on Stat Tickers, how if you actually take away the Curtis Blades fight, the best wrestler in division, his takedown defense goes from like 69% to like 85, 86%. His takedown defense is very good, especially now that he's coming in heavier. I think that's going to help him here. On the feet, I mean, it's not even debatable. Volkov's going to have the advantage on the feet here. He's going to have a height advantage. I think a 3-inch height advantage, a 3-inch reach advantage. Tybura, he's very, very chinny. He's been knocked out 4 times. He's been hurt a lot his past couple fights, but he's able to win because his opponents are gassing out. Greg Hardy, no gas tank. Walt Harris, no gas tank. Alexander Volkov, he has a gas tank. He has a lot of volume. He has great takedown defense. I think it's a really tough matchup for Tybura. Like, for Tybura to win this fight, he's going to need to get multiple takedowns. And it's not really something he does. I forget the exact number, but you go through his career and he's not going out there and getting a million takedowns a fight. He's getting maybe 1 or 2 a fight. I'll tell you the exact number. He's averaging about 1.67 takedowns for 15 minutes. Like, that's not enough. 1 takedown is not enough. 2 takedowns is not enough. He's going to need a lot more than that, because even if he does take down Volkov is very hard to hold down. Volkov is a brown belt in BJJ. There's just a big difference from a Greg Hardy or a Walt Harris than a Volkov. Volkov's been fighting the best of the best guys. You take a look at hhis losses inside the UFC against guys like Cyril Gane, guys like Derek Lewis, guys like Curtis Blade. I mean, the best of the best in the division. So yeah, I think it's a great spot for Volkov. Again, I don't feel comfortable in a lot of these big favorites, but Volkov was the guy I did lay the juice on. 3 units, minus 275 is my biggest play of the night. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see here. Evening, boys. Can't wait for tomorrow. Me as well. Imagine a world where Hooker subs Islam. Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy. 2,500 for a Dan Hooker sub plus 2,500. Back tat. Volkov built different. He sure is. Tybura by sub is the way to win, but I agree. I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, Volkov has not been subbed. I want to say in I think his last submission loss was like in 2009. It's going to be tough. The fight doesn't go the distance. Minus 140 seems like a good bet to me. I don't hate it. Don't hate it. I have Volkov keeping him at range and winning the low scoring decision. I could see that or a potential knockout. Tybura also finished Greg Hardy, whereas Volkov went the distance with Hardy, who was on short notice. Some MMA math there. Tybura, more of a dirty boxer. If he can't clinch, he'll be done. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to do it. Hammering Volkov this weekend. Yeah, I'm very high on him. Volkov, even money inside the distance. You think this fight goes to the judges? I think personally Volkov knocks him out, but I don't really care if he does or not because I have that money line bet. But yeah, I think he does knock him out. How does the third round Volkov plus 1,000 sound? I think it could be in any round, so I wouldn't really mess around with that. Adrian agreeing. Volkov will TKO. I think he does TKO him as well. Appreciate you for the dono, Adrian. Me and Adrian on the same page there. But I could also see a decision. Funny, Amon Marcin is one of my favorite dogs of the night. Oh, going against me here. Yeah, to be honest, like Volkov is probably my most confident pick on the entire card out of all the big favorites. Even then, hope he doesn't knock him out. I faded. Yeah, I have more Chimaev and guys like that, Makhachev and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Volk, Jan, and Islam lock. Nothing is a lock. Jandiroba will KO Ribas. Maybe Ribas is very chinny. But we'll move on to the next fight. We have 3 fights left. Islam Makhachev going against Dan Hooker. And the line is obviously, it's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take the shot on Dan Hooker. But it's one of those lines where you know it's off. Everybody knows it's off. But Makhachev's probably going to get it done. I guess the hard part is, is Makhachev going to submit him or win by decision? I'm more so on the decision prop, but I could see a submission. So, yeah, easy pass for me, especially at the price tag. On DK is fine if you can get to him. Multiple takedowns, control time as well. Dan Hooker's takedown defense is very good, but we have not seen it tested in a very long time. Like going back through Dan Hooker's career, Jason Knight took him down a lot. He took his back a couple times. He did not look great there, but that was like in 2016. But after that, he's matched up against a bunch of strikers. So, yeah, I think it's a solid spot for Makhachev. The line's off, we know, but it's one of those fights where Makhachev's probably going to get it done and get it done pretty convincingly. Like Dan Hooker, for him to win, it's going to have to be a knockout. Plus 700. If you're on Dan Hooker, plus 700. That's the only way. I mean, Makhachev has been knocked out in his only loss. It could happen. These things happen in MMA, but I just don't think it's too likely. So Makhachev for me, I think decision, but not going to mess around with any props. I think he does get it done. Islam going to dominate Hooker. Yeah, I think he does as well. Islam gets a sub. He could. Hooker has some solid grappling, though, but we'll see. I think Volkov is a level above Tybura. Yeah, I think he's definitely a level above. Only 15 lineups for tomorrow. I usually do 50. Yeah, I'm doing 150. I got Herb Dean beating Derek Lewis for 14 minutes and 59 seconds, and Lewis landing a last-second knockout. Yep, that definitely happened to Volkov. That is true, Thomas. FanDuel is not giving points for defending takedowns. Something to mention if you are a FanDuel player. Islam future champ Hooker. The new cow. Oh, that's disrespectful. The new Cowboy Cerrone. Easy pick here for me. Islam smashing. I think he does win as well, but I don't know about new Cowboy Cerrone. How could Dan Hooker even win a decision here? Brady, I didn't say that. I said if he does win, it's going to be a knockout. I do not see Hooker win. Definitely not. Decision would be the least likely scenario besides sub. I think a few fighters will be affected by the time difference. That could happen for sure. Kiss me, Brady. No, thank you, Arnis. I love Hooker. That's an awesome guy and a hell of a fighter, but my money is on Makhachev. Yeah, I think that's how everybody's feeling. I think Makhachev does get it done and does get it done pretty convincingly. All right, so we have 2 more fights to get through. We have Petr Yan going against Corey Sandhagen. And yeah, no action here for me. I was going to get on the Yan side if the line got a little bit better. I think the line's still probably a little bit wide here, but I would have liked Yan around like the minus 180, minus 190 range. I think it's going to be a close, competitive fight. But I think the big difference, and it's a thing a lot of people aren't talking about, which is extremely surprising because it's like the biggest factor for me in this fight, is going to be the takedowns of Yan and the takedown defense of Sandhagen. Like Sandhagen's takedown defense prior to the Dillashaw fight was like something like 29%, like something really bad like that. And then Dillashaw went, I think, like 2 or 3 for like 17. And then that takedown defense obviously got up, and I think it's like 60% now. But still, like Yan is going to be able to mix in the takedowns here or there. It's going to be close and competitive on the feet, but I think the takedowns are going to kind of steal rounds at times. But yeah, it's a close fight. It's definitely a close fight. But yeah, I think the wrestling is going to be the biggest difference here. Again, Sandhagen's takedown defense is very, very bad. Very bad. Yes, it looked improved against Dillashaw, but Dillashaw was, dealing with multiple injuries in that fight. So that could have been a factor there. Dillashaw was coming off of a big layoff as well. But yeah, as far as DK goes, Jan 8,800, I like it. Sandhagen 7,400, I like it. I think the winner of this fight has a very good chance of finding the optimal lineup. This fight is going to be extremely high paced. Sandhagen landing nearly 6.5 significant strikes per minute. Jan landing about 6 per minute as well. Jan with that wrestling upside as well. I think this fight's going to score a ton of DraftKings points. I don't mind stacking it in cash as well. I think stacking in cash, although it is a 14-fight card, I think it's the way to go. Stacking it in tournaments, don't know if I'd quite get there, but especially on a 14-fight slate. But I think the winner scores good. I think the loser scores good. I think this goes the distance. Would be kind of surprised if either guy got a finish here. Fight goes to decision minus 120. I think I saw it. Not terrible. But yeah, the pick for me is Petr Yan. No bet here. Not looking at any props or anything, but I think Yan does get it done. My exposure for this fight will be on the DraftKings side of things. But yeah, I think it's a fight that's going to be very, very fun, very competitive. But I think Yan does pull away and get it. Remember, everyone, it's going to be the big cage tomorrow. I do believe that plays a factor into the fights. Yeah. For example, the Volkov fight, the big cage favors Volkov quite a bit because Tybura is going to need to close distance, get takedowns, and the big cage does go into Volkov's favor. Jan got a ridiculous takedown accuracy of like 66% or something. Yeah, see, like that's a path to victory. That's a huge path to victory. Like when it's close and competitive on the feet, and then Jan goes for takedowns, those can seal rounds. Sandhagen will be helped by the big ring. Yeah, don't disagree there. Don't think it's like a big advantage though. Do you think Jan wants to scramble Sandhagen? I think he does. And I think he'll be fine. Sandhagen, the thing about him is his takedown defense is really bad, but his scrambling ability and his get-up game is phenomenal. Any parlays you recommend? Nope. No parlays for me. Like I said, somebody asked me earlier if I was to do like a 3-legger, it would be Volkov, Makhachev, and Chimaev. But even then, I don't feel completely great about it. Huge value on Sandhagen here. It's a style that Jan hasn't fought in the UFC. Jan should be a favorite for sure, but less steep. Yeah, what was it? I think it was like, open up minus 300. Like, I agree, that's really steep. Minus 210, still probably a little bit steep, but Jan by decision, which is plus 165. Don't hate it. I got Jan unanimous decision plus 225. What do you think, Bray? I think it could be worth a shot. I think it does go to decision. Jan 7 lineups, Sandhagen 0 lineups. Taking a stand there. Hello from Mount Rushmore. Howdy, chat. What is up, Justin? Got to stay away from this one. Betting wise, I think Jan is a better fighter overall, but I'll be rooting for Sandhagen. This should be a good one. Sandhagen's movement could cause problems with Jan, but I think Jan's control time will win him a decision. I'm right there with you. All right, so we will move on to the main event. And yeah, this one's a good one. Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Both these guys are getting up there in age. Teixeira, 42 years old. Blachowicz, 38 years old, but both these guys are looking the best they've ever had. I mean, it's hard to count out old man Glover. He just keeps getting it done. This guy has a ton of heart. The chin's not there. He's up there. He's 42 years old. But if you knock him down, you got to really put him out because you can hurt him really bad, but he'll stay in the fight. We've seen it time and time again. He gets dropped, and then he goes for a takedown. He digs deep. He gets it, and then he finishes you shortly after. Blachowicz, you take a look at his takedown defense, and I think that's the key. His takedown defense early in his career was really questionable. He was getting taken down a lot. He was getting controlled. But in his past couple fights, I mean, we'll just take a look. And in Blachowicz's past couple fights, his takedown defense has looked really good. So obviously, Adesanya 0 takedowns, Reyes 0, Anderson 0, Souza went 0 for 5, Rockhold 0 for 5, Santos 0, and then Krylov 1 takedown. So in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, in the last 10 fights, Blachowicz has gotten taken down one time. Like that's very impressive. So if Teixeira is not able to get takedowns here, I think he's going to be in big trouble. The chin's not there. Teixeira's not bad on the feet. He does throw pretty hard. I think he's live to potentially hurt Blachowicz. We've seen Blachowicz hurt before, but I don't think it's too likely. I think it's a solid spot for Blachowicz, but it's hard to count out Teixeira. If he does take down Blachowicz, he's going to be very live to win this fight. It's just Blachowicz's takedown defense has looked phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal to me. So And even then, like Blachowicz, I believe is a black belt in BJJ. If he is taken down, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I got to go with Blachowicz here. The younger guy, ton of power. Blachowicz by KO, plus 105. I don't hate it. I don't hate the plus 105. It was plus 155 on FanDuel earlier. Wish I would have got that. But yeah, KO, Blachowicz, plus 105. Blachowicz inside the distance, minus 110 spots I'm looking at. But yeah, I think Blachowicz does get it done on DK. 9,000. I don't hate it. Teixeira, 7,200. If you are looking for a pump play, he's the definition of a pump play. Could it be a respectful snoozer? It could be. It could be. These main events have been kind of disappointing as of late in terms of getting finished. I think it's been like 5 or 6 cards in a row where there has not been a finish. So maybe this does break the streak. What is up, Cody? Sandman KO. What a free main event. Yeah, the main event's phenomenal. I got the fight doesn't go to decision on this one. Yeah, I think it finishes. But I also thought Vittori Costa would finish. I thought Walker Santos would finish. But yeah, if this doesn't finish, I don't know what's going on. Folks are saying Jan versus Glover doesn't go the distance. I think it goes all 5. Hey, it could. It definitely could. But just with the styles of both guys, I think somebody gets finished here. Teixeira by finish before the 3rd round. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock. I think the line's a little bit off, but I think Blachowicz does get it done. Yeah, it shouldn't be a snoozer with fans back. I agree. Jan isn't good off his back. I don't remember him being able to get off his back, getting back to his feet once down. He did in the Krylov fight. I believe he reversed Krylov. But yeah, if you go back early in his career, he's not great at getting off his back. But I think he's made improvements. No side for me. I'm kind of way I'm leading. The line's not really bettable. Blachowicz minus 300. No, thank you. Marvin might have proved he has the best shin in the UFC in that last fight. Yeah, that was crazy. Did not enjoy that because I had the under where the fight doesn't go decision. But yeah. Best odds is the fight ends in KO minus 118. Yeah, I mean, Blachowicz, the only concern would be if Teixeira would submit him. But yeah, it's not terrible at all because you're getting the fight doesn't go decision minus 220, turning it into minus 118. I had the fight ends in KO last week. Forget which fight it was. Ike Villanueva. So that worked out. So yeah, don't mind those fight ends in KOs. But yeah, 2 great fights. This whole card's good. This whole card is phenomenal. The main event, the co-main event, it should be a very fun card. Agreed, Bout Better. Agreed. So I'll quickly go over my action. Kind of a smallish, lightish card for me. Lots of big favorites. I don't want to get too invested with this card, but I do like the spots I have. And then next week, I'm going to have a lot of spots sticking out early next week. And I might even have my next max bet, depending on the line I get, just waiting for it to come out. But Volkov, 3 units, minus 275, my biggest bet of the night. I think Volkov does get it done. We mentioned the bigger cage does favor a guy like Volkov. And then my second biggest bet of the night, Roman Kopylov, Albert Duraev. Fight doesn't go to decision. 2 units, minus 200. I really like that spot. The under 2.5 rounds, Yuzong Hu, Andre Petrovski, my third biggest bet of the night. 1.5 units, minus 150. I think it's Petrovski early. If he doesn't get him out of there early, I think Yuzong can take over, get him out of there mid-fight, late fight. My fourth biggest bet of the card is Dos Santos, Saint Denis, under 2.5 rounds, minus 120, 1.25 units. I have a straight bet on Yuzong Hu, taking a small stab there, half a unit, plus 194. Another small stab, half a unit, Oleksiejczuk, Chimaev, Ganzatov. Fight doesn't go to decision. 1 unit on Khamzat Chimaev wins in either round 1 or round 2, minus 110. I love that spot. And then Jandiroba wins by submission, quarter unit plus 1 or quarter unit plus 1,200. Some spots I was looking at but did not quite pull the trigger. I mean, maybe I'll add them. I still have time. Blachowicz by KO plus 105 was something I was looking at. Jandiroba money line plus 135 was something I was looking at. I think that was about it, I believe. Yeah, I think those were the 2 spots I was like close to pulling a trigger on. Yeah, that's about it. But if I do add those, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. I'll be posting my bets there very, very soon. But yeah, guys, thank you for hanging out. Had a decent amount of people in here. If y'all can smash the like button. I do want to shout out the sponsor, Pub Sports Radio, one more time. Go check them out there. Over 12K subs on there as well. I'm on there Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So let's get it, guys. We got Jandiroba, Valper like in Jandiroba. Sandman, don't know if he wins, but I bet him at plus 200 or better. Taking a dog shot there. Don't hate it. Don't hate the dog shot, but I think Jan gets it done personally. Twitter is DFS_numbers. Islam inside the distance plus 150. Could happen. Appreciate that bout better. Let's get it as well, Freddie. So again, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, early. Set your alarms, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Let's see how many people show up for best bet. Me, Uncle Weezy, Narco Cop, gonna roll with us three. Gonna get through 14 fights in about an hour. Should be a very fun show. So that's about it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.